I've a sort of a love-hate relationship with the Father Matthew statue. I don't drink anymore. I gave up alcohol about 10 years ago. And I sometimes find that Father Matthew has cast a long shadow. If you talk about not drinking in Ireland, you're accused of being a Father Matthew wannabe. So my relationship with the statue is kind of is a love-hate one. I know when there was plans or when it was proposed that they were going to move the statue, I didn't think that was a great decision. I mean, I've grown to accept the statue, I suppose, more than like it, and I think it's something that should be left there. I often now arrange to meet people under the statue. I feel he was a pioneer in many respects in terms of beginning to spark a debate in Ireland or a conversation around alcohol, one which maybe I've contributed to in some small way still 150 years later. And I remember spending time and looking at his life and seeing that, he had a lot of flaws as well, Father Matthew, and I think that made me like him even more, that the fact that the guy was very human and he made a lot of mistakes in his life. And I love that Cork saying as well, where people will say when he's putting his hand out that he's saying, that's the age I started drinking at, I was that high. And I kind of like that as well. It's that Irish sense of humour, and with myself and my relationship with not drinking, I like to have a bit of fun with it as well. So I think I've grown to love the statue, and I'd hate to see it being moved anywhere.
And what about the modern generation in Cork? Do you think it means anything to them?
I don't think so. I mean, I think one of the stories that's probably been forgotten was the impact Father Matthew had in relation to TB in Cork in the middle of the 19th century. I mean, our generation really doesn't have to deal with TB. Maybe you'd hear the odd case, but certainly I think for maybe grandparents, they would definitely still, that work that Father Matthew did for TB in Cork would still have been very strong in folk memory. But I don't think it's as strong now at the moment. And then the ballad tradition has waned a little bit, I think. So he's not been remembered in song to the same extent by the younger generation that he would have the older generation. But I do still think that people, can like a statue without really knowing a whole lot about the person. And I don't think they have to know much about his life either. They just come to accept that it's part of Cork. Maybe someday they might look into it, and maybe this project might help bring awareness to people about what his life was about and who he was and so on. So I think I'm rambling a bit there, Anton.
No, that's good.
There's no ending.
But fine, and so it's good to celebrate it.
I think it's great to celebrate the statue, and I love that line in the song, "The smell from Patrick's Bridge is wicked, how does Father Matthew stick it?" I mean, that's just a great line for any song, and even for that line alone, the statue shouldn't be touched.
Oh, the statue means a part of Cork. How many girls and